Freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom, like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome one and all, you're listening to What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host Mark Passio, my website, whatonearthishappening.com. Today is Monday, December 21st, 2015. It's the winter solstice today, the first day of winter. Hope everybody's having a good holiday season, if you believe in all that kind of stuff. And even if you don't, I hope you're having a good winter season. We have a great show lined up for you here tonight, folks. We're going to be talking about a topic that is really near and dear to my heart and something that I haven't really talked about too much on this radio show and in any of my podcasts or videos. I have been wanting to do a show about music for a long time because music is such a popular influence in society, and it's been such a huge part of my life since I was young that it's a topic that I really haven't covered nearly as much as I want to. And today I'm going to be getting into it in a big way with a good friend of mine and my bandmate in the Founders, Mike Thompson. So he's going to be the guest on the radio show today. So that's coming up on this edition of What on Earth is Happening. Just a few quick housekeeping things and a couple of announcements. I want to let everybody know that I am going to be giving a new live presentation coming up in February of 2016. This is going to be another presentation hosted by Art Capozzi, who hosted both my natural law seminar and my original Demystifying the Occult seminar. Those were done back in 2013 and 2014. So, this new presentation is going to be live in Philadelphia in February. The exact date is going to be forthcoming, but I want to start the promotion for it now because this is going to be a great live seminar that's going to actually be consisting of myself and Jay Parker. And the title for this entire seminar is going to be called Demystifying the Occult Part 2. Satanism and the Dark Occult. This is something that I only very, very briefly touched on in the first Demystifying the Occult seminar, and I think this is a topic that needs to be given more attention and clarified in people's minds, explaining to people exactly what is Satanism compared to what most people think that it is, and explain to people how this dark religion operates in the world. So, Demystifying the Occult Part 2, myself and Jay Parker, we're going to be talking about Satanism and the Dark Occult. This is going to be taking place in February of next year, February 2016, new live presentation, and this event is going to be hosted by Art Capozzi. This will be taking place, I have the venue, although we're still trying to work out the finalization of the date and time, but the venue will be the Ethical Society of Philadelphia. in Center City, Philadelphia. So it's a great venue. I've spoken there before as part of the Tesla Science Foundation's events that they have had at the Ethical Society. So it should be a really great overall all-day seminar with myself and Jay Parker. There is coming up one of, if not the biggest conference of its kind, Free Your Mind 4, coming at us in April of 2016, April 15th, 16th, and 17th. Free Your Mind is a conference on consciousness, mind control, and the occult. And Free Your Mind 4 this coming year will be hosted at the Sheraton Bucks County Hotel, the same place that Free Your Mind 3 was hosted. The Sheraton Bucks County, it's another great venue. This hotel is at 400 North Oxford Valley Road in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, just outside of the city limits of Philadelphia. Free Your Mind returns to Philadelphia in 2016 with a 3-day conference featuring top caliber whistleblowers and researchers from across the country who will shed light upon our world's problems and bring forward empowering solutions, spreading awareness on the topics of consciousness, mind control, subversive occult influences, holistic body, mind, spirit health, and solution-oriented approaches to the problems humanity faces in these challenging times. The speakers lined up for Free Your Mind 4 are as follows: Bob Tuskin, Kathy O'Brien, David Whitehead, Freeman, Jamie Hanshaw, Jay Parker, Janice Barcelo, Jim Mars, John Vibes, Jordan Maxwell, Josie Wales, Ken Rolla, Laura Eisenhower, myself, Mark Passio, Mark Phillips, Mary Sean Young, Max Egan, and Ross Ben. An all-weekend pass for the Free Your Mind 4 conference, $169.99. Individual day passes, $59.99. Tickets are available and have been available at freeyourmindconference.com. The conference's website, freeyourmindconference.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're at all into any of the information that has been and continues to be talked about on this podcast or in the truth community in general, Free Your Mind 4 is not an event you are going to want to miss, because this conference really brings people together from all over this country and many other countries as well, who have a thirst for truth and knowledge and want to come and gather and meet with like-minded people. And that's what a conference of this kind is all about. It's about getting people together, forging relationships, forging alliances, if you will, and bringing people together who are interested in truth and freedom. So Free Your Mind 4, Sheraton Bucks County Hotel in Langhorne, PA, April 15th, 16th, and 17th. Don't miss it. The conference website, once again, freeyourmindconference.com. There is a donation button on the front page of the whatonearthishappening.com website on the left-hand side of the page. If you feel that the information that has been shared freely on this podcast and through my videos is of value to you, feel free to make a voluntary donation to help support my work and myself. That is, again, on the left-hand side of the whatonearthishappening.com website. Also on that left-hand side, there is a link for What on Earth is Happening promotional t-shirts. I still have plenty of these available. They will also be available at the Free Your Mind 4 conference. I think I might even have another design, possibly. We'll see how it goes. But the t-shirts are still available. They have the All-Seeing Eye design on them. Really great redesigned logo that says truth, love, and freedom. And above it reads, one great work. So if you're interested in that, click that link and it'll send an email over to me, and I'll tell you how you can pick up a What on Earth is Happening promo t-shirt for a voluntary donation. So I think that's all the event announcements and other housekeeping that I have for right now. Actually, there is one more. I want to let people know that the Founders will be playing live here in Philadelphia in February as well. February 27th, we have another show coming up here in Philadelphia. This is my anarchist hardcore punk band. Really going strong so far, making waves in the city. People talking about the band, and if you're in the area, come on out and see us on February 27th. That's a Saturday night, and we'll be playing at Connie's Rick Rack, a local establishment that promotes local music. So that's in the Italian Market section of South Philadelphia. I'll have a flyer for that made pretty soon, and we'll promote it here on the site and on the founders.us, our website. Speaking of the Founders, my guest today is the lead guitarist of the Founders, Mike Thompson. Mike, thanks so much for coming on to the show today to have a discussion about modern music.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Yeah,
absolutely.
This is something that needs to be spoken about in depth.
Oh, without a doubt. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and something that I'll probably do in somewhat of an ongoing basis with people like yourself who are knowledgeable about, music in general, especially music that involves a powerful and needed message, and music that is really about rebelling against this system of control and slavery that we find ourselves in. So I guess my first thing that I'll throw out to you is if you want to tell the listeners about how we became involved in the current project that we're in, that backstory, we could start there.
Sure. In fact, the Free Your Mind conference that you were just speaking about, that's where the beginning of the Founders actually, that's the very start of it, where I met DJ, our other guitar player, and we hit it off. We began speaking about music, but also, moreover, we agreed on the same points as far as what the system was doing to society and how it was destroying the fabric and morality of society. And that's essentially where I came in to, the circle of friends, where we ended up on the 4th of July getting invited over to your place. This is before you and I began hanging out. And that was when the band actually formed, that day, on Independence Day. And, ever since then, we've forged a great relationship, and, we agree on the same points that we need to free humanity from slavery.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember that day clearly in my mind. We were having a cookout out in my backyard for 4th of July, and you came over with DJ, and you guys were asking me about the project that I was trying to get started musically, and I was telling you how poorly it was going because some other people that I had involved, weren't really dedicated to it, and it was kind of falling apart. And I felt like this isn't something that I'm going to be able to take live or anything like that. And you said, well, what kind of music is it? And I was telling you it was hardcore punk, and you're like, well, I play guitar, and I love that kind of music, so. It was kind of like, I was showing you the prototype of the logo that I was trying to work out with the artist at the time. And, kind of everything just kind of like synchronistically gelled. It synchronistically blended. Absolutely. And then DJ was talking about that he plays guitar, and, he would want to be involved in a project that talks about topics such as this. And it just kind of almost like, it really just came together that day where we said, we have people who are very interested in it. Again, also our other guitarist, Carrie, was there that night, and our drummer, Jared. And, it really just came all together suddenly, like without even anybody pushing it or expecting that this was going to turn into a project. We just all kind of like were talking and realizing we had a lot of interest in the same kind of music and of course the same message, and that one thing led to another, so to speak, and the rest is history, as they say. But very synchronistic, very synchromistic. That the band would get started on the 4th of July. That would be the place where we met and talked about this project, and then agreed to start meeting and writing some music. So couldn't have planned it that way if we tried.
Yeah, that's right.
So I guess what I really want to get into is the state of modern music, and specifically, like, to just open up a topic, rebellion in music in general, but specifically the genres of music that were supposed to be about rebellion.
Yeah.
Metal, hardcore, punk. These genres were supposed to be about saying, screw the system. We want no part of this immoral system of control.
Yep.
And infusing a message of rebellion and standing up, through the discordant types of sound that it puts out, like shaking people, making them pay attention.
Yeah.
What do you have to say regarding that general gist of that these genres were really supposed to be rebellious in their nature, and what's your view of what has happened to them?
Well, what I see today and what it's become is a part of the control system. What I see is the opposition controlling rebellion, controlling the rebellious nature within mankind, and specifically within this art form of music itself. And you can see over the years how it's just little by little been bred right out of people, and why it's so necessary right now to be that mindset, to live it and to bring it to people, because it has been taken away from these genres of music because of how powerful it is. The message itself that could be given to somebody through an art form like this, so readily available, is beyond reading a book, beyond sitting through a lecture. It's far more condensed and straight to the point. And, I see why they're doing it and what's happening within these genres of music and the lack of rebellion that's taking place within that. And that's why we're doing what we're doing.
It's so much, with music as an art form in general, so much can be said so quickly, with so few words. Whereas explaining a concept, for example, in a lecture or presentation, it often has to be elaborated upon. But because you're giving things in a structured, organized way that's has a sound accompaniment and it has a mathematical nature when it comes to music, you're structuring words in a way that they have to be efficient and they have to convey the message quickly. Rappers I find are very, very, very good at this. I'm amazed sometimes in conscious rap how few words it will take them to put a message out that's so, distinct and clear and powerful.
Exactly.
So I totally agree with what you're saying regarding the hijacking of these musical genres. I mean, they've been turned into more scenes and hangouts and, identities and fashion statements.
Feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lacking completely any rebellion whatsoever. All it's become is a way of fitting in, not questioning authority, not going against the grain. And that right there is giving up your right to think. And I have to say that that's been done a little too well, because we're seeing that too much within the musical scene today.
You talk about kinds of music that are popular, that don't contain any hint of rebellion at all. Pop music, things that you'll see at, music awards programs, things that you'll see on, if you do see any music on like MTV or VH1 or any of these other channels. It's just, it's so sanitized of any kind of a real message, a message that matters. So many people are even fearful of putting in a message that matters in music anymore, because it's like, oh, you're taking yourself too seriously, or, why are you trying to interfere with my time to be entertained?
Right.
You're trying to get me to learn something or pay attention to something, or, God forbid, care about something,
Right.
Can you speak to that aspect in modern music?
Yeah, that goes into the control mechanism that, is taking place right now, where I did mention, the feel-good aspect of it, where people just want to feel good. They don't want to think critically. They would rather, be on the side of popularity than to be on the other side where, when you are a truth seeker, you're usually ostracized, because other people don't understand what you're saying.
Right.
And
people fear that ostracization.
Absolutely.
Because they want to belong.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to be more popular so that they can get more well-known, more famous, if you will.
Exactly.
And therefore they are removing that message to be accepted, just for acceptance. So it's like, it's a catch-22. Yeah, do we want our music out there? Yeah, but we want it out there for a reason. We want it out there so it will help to awaken people.
Exactly.
People will pay attention to what we're actually saying in it and think about those themes.
Yeah. I mean, again, that goes back to paying attention, which most people aren't doing when they're listening to music or even what they're watching on television. They're busy trying to be just distracted. They want that distraction. They love it, unfortunately. And, when it comes to music, they're not, most of the time, people are not paying attention to the lyrics even.
Yep.
They don't know what's being pumped into their psyche and their subconscious most of the time.
Sure.
Because they don't even know what they're being told. And that's a dangerous thing, and that seems to be what's been taking over the minds of people,
Yeah, that's why I've always been interested in hearing what a band has to say. Bands who don't have much to say and don't have a message in their lyrics never held a huge appeal to me.
Right, same here.
I was always a lyric reader. I wanted to hear, why is this band bothering to write a song?
Exactly.
A lot of people don't even think about that. They're just all about the music, but they don't even recognize, like, if you're going to write a song, what are you trying to say by the song? Isn't it supposed to be an expression of a message, through a different medium, in this case, music?
Right.
And most people just don't care about the lyrics in music, and they, like you said, they just let it slip right into their subconscious. I mean, the lyrics we're writing are very deliberate. They have a deep message to them. The message is rebellion and freedom.
Exactly.
And, that's a huge part of what we do as the founders, because we want people to sit and listen to our music and read the words that we're putting out there. And, of course, we want you to hear the music too, but, when we get good recordings of this, I think people are going to realize, how much we're pushing the envelope of this genre of music. And, it's a little bit difficult to hear live because, there's a lot of difficulty associated with not only presenting a band properly live, but also recording it. Right. But when we get some studio recordings, I think people will really clearly be able to hear what this band's really all about.
Yeah.
I want to shift the discussion into a little bit talking about, like, music's role in society, or moreover, its perceived worth in society. Because, you have so many people that look at music, it's just, you're going to just become another starving artist, and so many people don't even want to be associated with people that perform, that put out art in all different forms, whether it be, traditional art, painting, drawing, etc.
Right.
Art through making videos, through making music. I mean, you just, what's your view of how music is, how it's viewed, its perception, its worth in society?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, when you take a close look at what's going on, it's easy to see that people, most of the time, I mean really most of the time, need to be told what to think, what to feel, how to believe in what they believe in. And a lot of the time people are told what is popular, what is pop culture, what you should be paying attention to by the mainstream. And unfortunately, a lot of people, this is the way their mind works, that they go toward that. It's a moth to a flame, essentially. They go right for that, and they will bite the bait, and they do it almost every time. And unfortunately, bands like us that are going out and speaking the truth and doing it on our own, we're not telling people, what to believe. This is not an opinion. This is the truth. This is what the truth is. It's unbridled, and whether you like it or not, that's your problem. You could take it or leave it. But I'm telling you, from what I see, it's a lot of it has to do with the fact people need to be told what to think and what's popular.
Right. And they flock toward what they think is secure, what they think is safe. Exactly. I see this big time in a lot of people, even out in the music circuit. They want the maximum safety. They don't want to go anywhere where the boat's being rocked.
Right.
You know, it's part of, you know, the whole topic of last week's show, which was courage. You know, courage is so lacking in society. It's no different in the music circuit.
Completely.
You know, a lot of people just want to run away from anything that is real. You know, continuing with that, I think it's been increasingly difficult to get people excited about music, to get them to want to come out and support music. I mean, this was a problem, you know, when I was a little bit younger doing music as well, and it hasn't really gotten much better. What's your view on that?
Well, yeah. I mean, people tend to say that with technology that we've allowed ourselves to gain convenience, when I don't see that. I mean, in certain respects, yes, but people also will say that, you know, and this is just a blanket statement, I mean, that it brings us closer together when it doesn't. I mean, in fact, it's brought us further apart, you know, where people would rather just watch online or you know, they're not willing to go out and support something in person because they're taking a gamble on their satanic mindset of what I can do for myself, what's going to benefit me. And if I go out and I don't enjoy myself, and God forbid, you know, but
can't take a chance.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And especially with a band that has a message like our band, the Founders. I mean, we are speaking out against the establishment, which most people are afraid to do. You know?
As a matter of fact, when you even mention that that's what you're about, you see the fear come over people's minds, come over their facial expressions, all of it, their body language.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're going to talk about that now. You know? Oh, where can I run to? You know?
Yeah.
Because they're cowards. I mean, that's what it really comes down to.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like they just wouldn't stand up for themselves if, you know, they were being, you know, forced into a prison camp. That's how late they'll wait.
Yeah.
And then probably won't even do it then.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What about people who just use the music scene, quote unquote, to be just that, scenesters, to be people who are just there for fitting in and trying to make friends and don't even really care about the music. They're more interested in, you know, what's the fashion that's going to go along with this kind of music, or what kind of friends am I going to be able to make here at this club or at, you know, in this new scene. What do you think of scenesters? As if I need to really ask that.
I see them to be just as vile as the controllers that are ruining the fabric of society. I mean, whether you're willingly ignoring or you just don't know, I mean, you're being a part of this system that is distracting people and demoralizing completely the minds of people. You know, I don't have any appreciation whatsoever for somebody that wants to ignore the truth. I mean, it doesn't take much to look around to see the state of the world that we're living in, you know, and if that's the way you want to go by ignoring it, then you're just as much a part of the problem.
I'd say they are the problem.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's a great point. You know, we have a song in the band about people who are inauthentic and just, you know, trying to fit in, you know. And they're the kind of people who will, you know, actually be vocal and talk out against people who are genuinely into this for bringing a message, you know, because it's almost like, oh, you're ruining my good time vibe.
Right.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, the Founders aren't here. I mean, yeah, we want people to hear our music and have a good time at our shows, but we're not here to placate people and tell them what they want to hear. We're here to bring a strong, powerful message of truth in and infuse that into the music and make that a part of the entire experience. We're not here to just have a good time vibe flowing at every moment at one of our shows. You know, we're going to say uncomfortable truths regardless of how that makes people feel. Exactly. Just like I do in my presentations. You know, it's like we're not going to sugarcoat what's going on in the world. We're just going to put it to some cool hardcore punk music and let that be a different vehicle for the expression of this message. Yeah. So we'll get into maybe some of our individual songs before we start talking about some other topics too, so we could give people an idea of what, you know, lyrically, message-wise, this band is all about. But essentially, I didn't really talk about your background at all. Maybe we could start there. How long have you been playing guitar? What are some of your influences musically? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can get into what we're doing with the Founders as far as our message goes.
Sure. I'm a lover of music from a very, very young age, and I always found the expression of anything artistic through sound and vision to be a very powerful vehicle, for anything. And at a young age, I fell in love with rock and roll and punk rock, and saw bands like the Ramones and Jimi Hendrix, and saw that, and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to get up there and do that. And over the years, I realized as I grew into my teenage years what real, rebellion actually was, and what it stood for. It wasn't just saying, hey, I'm going to go against the grain. It was looking at the state of the world. And the punk rock that I got into was very much like that. A band that I think we both can agree on, The Exploited. I got into at a very young age, and they talk out against the system, and I couldn't believe the powerful message that they were bringing. That it made me want to be somebody to be able to bring that message. And essentially I've been playing guitar since I was 13 years old. I'm now 31, and I've never put it down, no matter what it seems to be as far as being unpopular, because it seems that artistic value is not really appreciated,
right?
And there's a reason for
it's not
that.
Making a ton of money. It has no worth in society, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that goes into the socialist movement that wants to control that, where, that's not being supported. So, I never gave up on that. And, the bands that I played in the past, I didn't really have other like minds, as far as what I believed in. As far as the genres that I was into, that's something that we agreed upon. And,
we like heavy music. I mean, we like heavy guitar riff-driven music.
Yeah.
With heavy drums. And it's a personal taste preference. Obviously, not everybody's going to like this band. That doesn't mean that we're not good at what we do. That doesn't mean that we're not a good representation of this genre as an art form. But not everybody's it's not going to appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to hear it and be like, "Oh, that's terrible. I don't like that kind of music." And that's fine. A lot of people don't like death metal. A lot of people don't like black metal. A lot of people don't like punk rock. A lot of people don't like country music. Yeah. A lot of people don't like, line dance music. But whatever. A lot of people don't like rap. As far as the style goes, that's a taste preference. There is no right or wrong when it comes to that. It's like, what appeals to one person's ears is not going to appeal to other people's ears. Our goal here was not to try to find the kind of music that's the most widely liked or accepted. It's what we're going to play what we like, because this is our band. It's not someone else's band. If they like a different kind of music, go form your own band. Go put out your own kind of music that you like. This is what we like. See, a lot of people have a hard time with that. They keep telling me, "Oh, I don't like that," or "Why are you doing it like this?" It's like, I'm not really interested in what people think of our musical style
at all.
We're going to play what we like.
Exactly.
The end.
And more importantly, beyond the sound, sonically, beyond the actual sound of the band, a lot of people need to start waking up to the message. Right. There are bands that I don't necessarily like their sound, but if their message is speaking about the truth, speaking about freedom, and breaking us from slavery, then I will listen to them.
And we will listen to music like that with an open mind.
Exactly.
And support it because it's putting out a message of truth and freedom.
That's right.
Without a doubt. Yeah, great point. I totally agree, fully. So, I guess maybe it's a good time to talk about some of the things we do get into in our songs, and maybe talk about some of the songs specifically, and the writing process.
Yeah.
So, how about the song "A Nation of Sheep"?
One of my favorites. I mean, it just speaks for itself. in the world that we're living in right now, and what this country has become, how easily people will be duped into believing whatever the control system wants them to without doing any critical thinking whatsoever. This song right here touches upon it.
The lack of courage, the ignorance,
Yep.
that is prevalent in society. What the founders, would think of us.
Yeah.
The founding fathers of America. I mean, the line, it opens up, if they could see America today, the founders would turn over in their graves. I mean, I think it's almost an understatement. The founders would chastise us to the nth degree for what we have allowed this country to degenerate into. This song is, as all of our songs are, they're hard-hitting, they're in your face, they don't pull any punches, they don't mince words. Mm-hmm. I guess if we want to let people get a little bit of a preview lyrically, because I think this is something that I want to put out there for people to get the gist of what is, what the founders really talk about in our music. So I'll just read the lyrics to this song, and, then we can continue with maybe another one. This song is called A Nation of Sheep. It goes, if they could see America today, the founders would turn over in their graves. They'd be sickened by what this country has become, land of the cowards and the home of the effing dumb. A nation of sheep begets a government of wolves. Police state rising, a population of slaves. Fluoride in the water and the television rotting their brains. Ignorance, apathy, corruption everywhere you turn. History repeating cause these MFers don't want to learn. A nation of sheep begets a government of wolves. Fascists, neocons, and their corporate dupes. Marxists, communists, and their socialist tools. Liberals and conservatives, all brainwashed fools, while the people fall prey to totalitarian rule. If they could see America today, the founders would turn over in their graves. The people in denial of truth they don't want to see. Submissive cattle who still believe they're free. A nation of sheep begets a government of wolves. I mean, that's the overarching message of what this band is bringing to the table and the way that we're saying it in this band.
Yeah. Not sugar-coated, not trying to make it seem like it's something else that it's not. This is exactly what it is. This is what we stand for.
When I introduced the next song that I want to talk about at the recent show that we played, I noticed that it made a lot of people uncomfortable because so many people still don't know what a false flag is, or so many people have been convinced that, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory.
Right. They don't even know the word and what it means,
right,
or where it came from,
And, when you try to let people know that a lot of the events that have been happening in this country are contrived, they are orchestrated, they are scripted, and they're there just to make people afraid so that then their rights can be stripped in the aftermath and claiming we need more security.
Yep.
People still get uncomfortable talking about this and still don't understand the tactic that's being used against them in a false flag attack.
Right.
It's amazing that the news media has been able to keep through what they will not talk about, people so ignorant of this basic tactic that's been used throughout history.
Yeah. Very ignorant to history in general are most people, unfortunately. They don't know what the Reichstag is. They don't understand what was done, through that to take away people's rights. And that same narrative has been used over and over and over again. And this song in particular really gets right to the heart of that. And, it's one of my favorite songs because this seems to be a perennial thing that they've been pulling, where it's just constant happening left and right. Every other week it seems like there's another false flag, and people don't seem to be waking up to it because the media is something that they rely upon still, and think that they are going to actually tell them the truth. They don't know who owns the media.
Boy, they hit us with so many false flags in 2015. I mean, we're at the end of the year, and I think this year had more than any other in history.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was almost like they were coming every week.
Yeah.
You know? So as opposed to A Nation of Sheep, that song, the sound is very punk rock oriented. It's very hardcore punk sounding.
Yeah.
I would say the song Another False Flag, which is the song we're talking about, is our most hardcore song. This one sounds more in the hardcore genre.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So here's the lyrics, folks, for Another False Flag. How do you get the people to surrender their rights? Unleash an act of chaos that snuffs out a lot of lives. Blame it on an enemy. An easy lie to sell. Such an ancient tactic, but it works so goddamn well. 9/11, 7/7, Port Arthur, and Sandy Hook. The Boston bombing, Oklahoma City, WTC 93. It was another false flag. The times and places change, but the technique remains the same. Will the people see the truth and know where to place the blame? Order out of chaos, the most dangerous game. Understand the strategy or fall for it again and again. 9/11, 7/7, Port Arthur and Sandy Hook. The Boston bombing, Oklahoma City, WTC 93. It was another false flag. Just another false flag. Give up your freedom and we'll keep you safe. Give up your rights and you'll be just fine. Give up your freedom because you're afraid. Give up your rights and become our slaves. 9/11, 7/7, Port Arthur and Sandy Hook. The Boston bombing, Oklahoma City, WTC 93. It was another false flag. Just another false flag. You know, and people are still, resistant to understanding that message because they don't want to believe that we're ruled by psychopaths.
Exactly.
That would do something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible that people don't have that discernment, that's been snatched away from them, to not see and understand that the paradigm for the left and right, is the same head of Hydra. It's the same beast, and they do not see that because they want to be fooled. People love to be fooled, and that's working a little too well. I mean, look at who is running right now for the presidency. I mean, it's absurd. It's a joke. A bunch of clowns. And as it is, people don't understand what it is to rule themselves, to become moral themselves, and to not need a master.
That's right. I heard a recent quote from Adam Kokesh. I believe it was Adam. He said, when people ask me who I'm supporting for the next president, I ask them, what kind of cancer do you like most?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was just great. That was just brilliant.
It's calling a spade a spade.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they are a cancer upon society, and if people don't see that, they have a lot they need to do some research about to find out what these people stand for, where they come from.
A lot of people are still in this naive mindset, especially people in music. I mean, this is a good point to just do a brief aside to talk about like the lack or small amount of true anarchists in music. I mean, so many people, you start talking out against government in general, and it turns them off because they're still under this delusional, childish, naive impression that people in government care about them and want to make life better for them. They actually still believe this nonsense. I mean, it's a mindset of a 4-year-old child, literally.
Absolutely. I mean, to not even know, even within the lyrics of A Nation of Sheep, how you explain the fluoridation of the water. Most people don't even understand what that actually is. They're not even educated to understand.
Because they're fluoridated.
Exactly. So it's no wonder why we've got a lot of this fog going on and just absolute shameful behaviors of thought where people think that these people actually care about them. They're far gone and very lost.
they ascribe their own moral sensibility to other people, which is a dangerous prospect. I've talked about that a lot on the show in the past. Just because you wouldn't take an action that is highly immoral doesn't mean someone else would not take that action.
Exactly.
You're not that person. You don't know what their mindset is like. To just ascribe your moral sensibilities to someone else is a dangerous proposition, because you have to understand the kind of psychopaths we're dealing with in the world. So, there's just such a small amount of people who are anarchists in the whole music circuit, and not only that, there's a small amount of people who understand real anarchy.
Right.
There's this fake form of anarchy that goes around in music that is really communism in disguise, socialism in disguise. People have to understand anarchy means exactly what you just said. No masters, no rulers, no authority, and that's it. It stops there. Yeah. If you try to inject something else into that, then, you're usually bringing a system in place. And again, this form of music is supposed to be about saying, screw the system. We don't need a system of controls in place. We'll take a chance on chaos. That's what real anarchy is all about, shedding the fear of chaos.
Yeah.
Anarchy isn't chaos, but it involves that dynamic of refusing to give in to fear, and if chaos is a possibility, then so be it. I'd rather be free and chaotic than perfectly safe, orderly, and totally enslaved.
I believe Thomas Jefferson said, I prefer dangerous freedom. And that's something that I know for a fact, this band and as friends, what we stand for.
That's right.
I prefer to live in dangerous
That's
freedom.
Right. Without a doubt.
I don't want to be duped and lied to and, be kissed with a lie. I'm sick and tired of seeing people wanting to have that be their reality, and, they are a part of the problem.
Yeah. That fear that they give into and perpetuate is definitely the problem. And, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll give me my 45 ACP, and I'll take my chances with the psychopaths and or even cannibals all around us. Yep. I'm not interested in being protected. Anybody who wants to be protected is not a real man or a real woman.
That's right.
You're responsible for your own self-defense and protection, and there's no excuse for not understanding those principles and arming yourself to be able to defend yourself if necessary with deadly force.
That's right. And that's what they're trying to take away from people through all these false flags. They want to give the illusion that if our guns are taken away, that suddenly the terrorist is going to change its mind.
Or the criminal. Or the government.
Yeah, exactly. Which
Good
is
luck
criminal.
With that. Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible that dialectic is being used and working.
Believed.
Yeah.
That's
it's
even
sad.
More amazing.
Very sad.
So, we have another song about scenesters, about people who just come out to be part of something, and they're not even really into the music. They're about making a fashion statement, having a scene of friends, fitting in, stuff like that. And they're certainly not about rebellion.
Exactly.
They're the first people who will clear out when you start talking about rebellion. They're the first people that will get all timid, afraid, shut down, go glassy-eyed on you.
Yeah, God forbid they have a message of truth that's injected to their psyche. That's, again, going back to the whole feel-good behavior, which they think they're any different from their parents. They're no different from their parents that continued to allow this slavery to take place in society.
That's right. And they imagine that they are very different from their parents' generations. Why? Because they dress different. They got a few more tattoos than their parents ever had.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that makes you real different.
Or
it
even
has
technology.
Exactly.
People think that they're so hyper aware now that they've got their smartphones, which in my opinion the phone is only as smart as the user.
That's right.
And that's any different, but it's no different. I mean, it's even worse in fact, because they've got a library at hand that they could be looking up anything, but they choose to just be placated into being a slave for the system that wants to be, a part of this system and be
they
popular.
accept the whole paradigm that goes along with it. They accept the whole view of reality, the whole projected view of reality from the mainstream media.
Exactly.
These people, the worst part about this hipster generation is that they believe they're informed, too.
Yeah.
They actually believe they know something. They think they know more than someone like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually believe that they're highly informed people because they can click a few buttons and look something up on Wikipedia or something.
Right. Yeah. A government-controlled website anyway.
So, this song is called Hipsters in Costumes. So, I'll read the lyrics. Fake-ass scenester pieces of shit just trying to look the part. Conformist scum, just like your parents were. System lovers from the start. Your mouths move a mile a minute, but none of you got shit to say. You wouldn't know what punk really means if it smacked you in your tattooed face. All you want to do is belong. You don't want to rebel. You're nothing but hipsters in costumes, and you killed punk long ago. To you, punk is just about a look and a scene. It's about fitting in and making friends. Punk was never supposed to be about belonging to a crowd. It was supposed to be about taking the control system down. Fake-ass scenester pieces of shit, just trying to look the part. Conformist scum, just like your parents were. System lovers from the start. Your mouths move a mile a minute, and none of you got shit to say. You wouldn't know what punk really means if it smacked you in your tattooed face. All you want to do is belong. You don't want to rebel. You're nothing but hipsters in costumes, and you killed punk long ago. That's some of the lyrics I'm actually the most proud of for writing, because it's something that really needs to be said in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
In this whole community of people.
Absolutely.
Which is like a scene. It is a bunch of scenesters. And we're going to come in and be the uncomfortable, discordant dynamic within that quote-unquote scene to make people uncomfortable. Because this is what punk rock has become.
Yeah.
And, and I say you killed punk long ago. They killed what was the spirit of punk. Do I think punk is dead? No, I don't, because we're living proof that it's not.
That's right.
And that's the other thing I want to talk about. Like, just as a personal side anecdote, I don't dress at all like I'm a punk rocker. I've been into punk rock since I was a child.
Yeah.
Okay? Listening to the Ramones. And other punk bands. But people will look at me and immediately associate, well, he doesn't dress like a punk rocker. Is that what a punk rocker is?
Right.
His hair isn't like a punk rocker.
Right.
Oh, is that what it is to be into punk and to understand punk rock?
Conformity.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I don't
if
have
you don't
your
look
uniform.
the part, then you don't fit in. And that goes in with mindset.
Yep.
And if you're not towing the line of what people have been, lied to about, which they don't understand, these aren't even their own thoughts. That these are scripts written for them. Through
by
the
think
Tavistock,
tanks.
The Fabian Society. If they don't know about that, then they're completely uneducated about what's been done to them.
That's exactly right. Steering mass movements of people. Steering societies in the way these think tanks want them to go. So that song, Hipsters in Costumes, I particularly like. It's absolute venomous vitriol, as you can hear. But I think it's needed vitriol.
Absolutely.
So part of my background, I was in a stoner rock, really stoner metal project years ago called Omega Lord. And, we were kind of like the stereotypical stoner metal type band, themes that you might think of as part of that genre. But we also were very into freedom and rebellion, and we had a song called Not Gonna Die With Bullets in My Gun. Kind of kept that in this band. We kind of like took that song and were, if you will, covering it or just making it our own, since it was one of the songs that I was involved in the writing of when I was in Omega Lord. So this song is really about not giving up. It's about you could interpret it from the perspective of a physical gun, but to not die with bullets in your gun means you did everything possible, that you didn't give up without trying, without a fight. Exactly. You know, so what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, what you just said, I mean, it's just not giving up no matter what the opposition is bringing your way, which is a lot of people that are going to disagree, that are going to swear that they've done enough research to know what you're talking about to say you're wrong, and have no clue that they've been lied to. You know, I'm not giving up no matter what anybody tells me. You know, I've used my discernment, you know, in my life and where I've been around the world. I've seen it for what it is. I know that the control system is doing its best to take people like us and turn against each other and essentially run away from freedom because it's not popular. You know, the talking, or, you know, rather the topic of freedom and truth is something that most people scoff at.
That's right.
And I don't care if you want to scoff at it. I don't care if you don't think that that's cool or popular. That's not what I'm on this planet for.
That's right.
You know, what we're here to do is to bring morality back, to cut the chains of slavery. And I'm sick and tired of people trying to turn that away, from society. And I don't care if it makes me unpopular.
We're here to lead a rebellion against the practice of human slavery.
That's right.
Yep. So, the song Not Gonna Die with Bullets in My Gun. Here's the lyrics. You tried to hold me back. You tried to keep me down. Tried to make me live your lie. This is where it ends. I'm taking my shot. Ain't wasting no more time. Not gonna die with bullets in my gun. No surrender, no retreat. No compromise or peace. Let slip the dogs of war. And if you're in the way of this runaway freight train, gonna get run down for sure. Not gonna die with bullets in my gun. Not gonna die. No, I'm not gonna die with bullets in my gun. Fighting with my future, haunted by my past. Sure as hell wasn't the first, so F it all, 'cause I won't be the last. And if I have to go now, let it just be so. But I'm gonna take as many with me as I can. May not win the battle, may not even win the war, but I'm shooting all my rounds. Not gonna die with bullets in my gun. Not gonna die. No, I'm not gonna die. Not gonna die. No, I'm not gonna die with bullets in my gun.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really does get to the heart of what we stand for.
Never give up.
That's right.
Persistence.
Yep.
The universe will reward courage and persistence.
Exactly.
So one of our more popular songs, especially sound-wise, just to go back quickly to Not Gonna Die, I'd say that's our most metal-sounding song. That's definitely got an element of Motorhead style, metalish, punkish metal in it. I'd say that's definitely our most metal song that we have, if you want to consider any part of what we do, quote, metal. Right. I tend to really look at us as a straightforward hardcore punk band, but there's definitely elements of several genres in our music, you know.
Yeah, so, certainly a lot of undertones,
yep.
From all of our outside influences, definitely, but culminated into one which I think is very unique in this genre of music. So
we'll just do a few more songs to talk about, just to give people an idea of what this band's all about. We'll do Three Percenters. Again, this is probably one of our more popular songs sound wise. This is really about the small amount of people who will rebel against any form of tyranny. The 3% are who fought the American Revolution. That's right. I'd say maybe there's about 3% who are willing to fight the second one, should it be necessary to take it into the physical domain. And that'll be enough. It'll be, horrific if it has to go that way. But it was enough the first time. It'll be enough this time. But this song is really about what, are you a man or a mouse? Do you have real courage? Will you stand up? Will you stand together for freedom? Or will you run? Yeah. Will you be somebody who doesn't have the courage to stand up and run, and you'll count yourself in the other 97%?
Right. Yeah.
So you want to speak to this song or any part of the
this
music
is one of
about
my
it?
favorites because this is what we understand as far as the revolution that took place. You know, these men and boys that fought for our freedom. I mean, truly, not what's going on right now
Right.
in occupied countries around the world. I'm talking about the guys that fought against the Tories.
Yep.
That said to the Redcoats, "Jog on.
That's
We
right.
don't want you here."
That's right.
You know, and that's what we're willing to do because, unfortunately, the Redcoats are somewhat still here.
Oh,
You
they're
know,
completely
the
still
Nazis
here.
and the Redcoats
Yep.
are here,
And the communists,
that's
all
right.
of them.
You
And they
know?
all shook hands to say, we can't let this place be a bastion of freedom.
Exactly.
We have to take it down from the inside. Because,
Yeah.
you know, too many people are here who will overtly, physically fight for their freedom when you're trying to overtly conquer them. But, you know, if we take it covertly, if we take it through stealth, if we take it through mind control and subversive influences, then we have their minds and they'll just breed more people who are milquetoast people.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Total milquetoast, uncourageous, you know.
Doughboys.
Yeah, doughy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.